Hey everybody, what's going on? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking us on out. Much appreciated. If you guys like Dolphins talk, and if you're at this channel, I imagine you do. Or you just like my handsome face. Man, I had this one picture, by the way, that came from the Tyreek Hill Family Foundation. It looked like a blowfish in a suit. I'm just going to say it. I mean, wow. I'm going to need to do some more crunches. And by that, I don't mean bunch of crunches, although that also sounds delicious. Either way, if you're a Dolphins fan, check out the Porpoise Pod for me. That would be tremendous. I'll put the download link there. If you guys could subscribe to that, as many of you guys are viewing this now, would appreciate the support there. Cost you nothing. Would mean the world to me. Download an episode with me and my guy Solana. I think you'll dig it. Do it, 3 times a week or so and have some fun there. And if you like the Tobin and Leroy Show, go subscribe to our podcast and subscribe to us over on our YouTube channel there for 56 WQAM, where we're live every day from 10 until 2. So interestingly, I was enjoying my week. It's the bye week where we're having a nice little relaxing time, not too much going on. And, I do feel like people are coming around on the Miami Dolphins. I was on, CBS Sports Radio yesterday. They were big doubters on the night show over there with Zach Gelb, and it feels like they're even starting to come around. They are impressed with what the Dolphins are doing. But, just when you think the dust settles, just when you think that there's no one coming into the OK Dumb Take Saloon, all of a sudden we got Bill Barnwell, old Barnwell, coming through with a stupid article. And here it was. This is his 9 teams, lucky, unlucky NFL teams in 2022. How 9 teams could improve or decline. And so, he's got his 9 teams here: the Bills, the Browns, the Bucks, the Falcons, the Giants, the Jaguars, the Raiders, the Titans, and the Dolphins. So I don't really give a rat's ass about the other teams. Let's just hop to it, as everybody does on ESPN. Let's see what he has to say about the Miami Dolphins. Does he find them to be lucky or unlucky? Because one would say a team that loses their starting quarterback for 3 weeks and technically loses their starting quarterback in every of those other games and have to play with another quarterback than they plan to practice, one might think that was unlucky. Not old Barnwell. Barnwell declares the Dolphins lucky. Lucky Dolphins. That is why they are 7-3 based on luck. He has a column, a sub headline. What has gone right? 1-score games or hidden special teams. 1-score games are a hilarious thing to me because I feel like every week in the NFL is full of 1-score games. The idea that you want to chalk it up to luck is kind of crazy to me because these are games that are won with the game in the with the game in the bounce, when the pressure is highest, when the cheeks are tightest, and somehow this has been painted with a broad brush by people as luck. I disagree with this, but let's hear what Barnwell has to say. He writes, Dolphin fans are rightfully over the moon. Tua Tagovailoa has been the league's best quarterback on a snap-by-snap basis this season. Mike McDaniel looks like the right head coaching hire after years of disappointing decisions. The defense has struggled, but Miami has won every game Tagovailoa has completed so far in 2022. And if anything, given that the Dolphins have lost 3 games, Tagovailoa mostly or entirely missed because of a concussion, Finn's supporters might feel like they've been unlucky. Why, yes, Bill, one might think that you lose your starting quarterback for a third of the season, and one might conclude as the quarterback who you have said is the best on a snap-by-snap basis, which to me just means he's the best quarterback. I don't know what distinction are we making there. Yes, one not having that quarterback for those games, one would think that is unlucky, but not you, Bill. Here's what you got to write. Well, the Dolphins are a legitimate playoff team and a contender for the AFC East. I would argue that they've had fortuitous timing for stretches. They are 5-0 in games decided by 7 points or fewer, including comeback victories in consecutive weeks over the Ravens and Bills. In the win over the Bills and the Steelers, they had to come up with a red zone stop to win. The Lions and Bears had fourth quarter drives to take the lead, only to come up short. Rats. Unbelievable. So the defense coming up and coming through late. We can always go to a quarterback and he has a game-winning drive. Tom Brady for years, setting up Adam Vinatieri, setting up Gostowski, setting up all these guys for game-winning field goals. Rings on his finger. That is not luck because the quarterback did it, but because the defense, also a part of a football team, comes up with a clutch, needed stop with the game on the line. That, my friends, is Josh Boyer having just a horseshoe up his ass, and not skill, not clutch from the Dolphins defense. It is lucky. Barney continues. Josh Boyer's defense deserves credit for coming up with those stops, but it's curious how it has struggled so often for long stretches of games and then sealed up shop exactly at the right time. When they are leading by 7 points or fewer in the fourth quarter, though, they have the league's 8th best defense. Look, dude, hey, I don't know about you kids out there. I don't know what kind of stories you got read, Mother Goose, Humpty Dumpty, but I also got read a story as a child, okay? And it was called Bend Don't Break, okay? And that was about defense. Dolphins, they can bend. You can give Josh Allen all his little 300 yards that he wants, but when it came down to it, like he has seemingly done a lot, pooped the bed when it mattered. But, as Barney says, Billy Barnes, luck. What's weird about those red zone stops, he writes, is Miami otherwise has been abysmal inside its own 20-yard line. It has allowed teams to convert for touchdowns on 68.8% of their red zone possessions, the 4th worst mark in the league. The Dolphins only have 3 stuffs for 0 points in 32 red zone trips this season, a stop at the 1-yard line against the Ravens, and a 2-yard line against the Bills, and an interception of Kenny Pickett in the Steelers' win. They needed all 3 of those stops to win those games. Again, stuffs at the red zone, stuffs at the goal line, game-ending interception. The Kenny Pickett game, let's just step back for a second, of games that you would dub lucky, or the Dolphins got away with one. I would say, to me, personally, the Steelers game is probably the lone game where I would hear this argument out. It was a game, we were all feeling very nervous. Tua Tagovailoa, he was throwing the ball all over the place. Give him a little bit of a break. I don't know if you guys know this. 3 weeks before that happened, he got stretchered off the football field and couldn't function his limbs. So if he was a little bit off, a little bit rusty, okay. But you want to chalk that up just to the luck. The other thing that's also lucky about that is knowing Benogany made the game-winning play, which, let's just be honest. That is a rarity that we do not see happen very much. Here's the one that is laughably funny. Miami has also benefited from sloppy play on special teams. While it has fielded the league's worst special teams by DVOA through 10 weeks, it has gotten help from a source it typically wouldn't consider. A subpar opposing punter. Subpar punting against the Dolphins. They're getting breaks because the punter isn't punting up to snuff. While opposing kickers have been above average field goals and extra points, punters that have faced the Dolphins are averaging just 42 yards per punt. That's nearly 2 yards per punt below the 2nd worst mark, and it's 5 more yards below the league average. So let me get this straight. Kickers are nailing stuff against the Dolphins, which actually equates to points. But, and by the way, the Dolphins have a very, very shaky kicking game. The Dolphins have also punted twice in the span of the last 3 weeks, yet Barney here wants to say that one of the reasons the Dolphins have gotten lucky is underperforming punters. Imagine that. Look, I hope you don't hurt a ligament with the reach that you're going with here, because holy crap, this is what you got for us. This is not only the fact that you're dubbing the Dolphins lucky. Again, a team that you said had a quarterback, best QB in the league on a snap-by-snap basis, but also, and lost him for 3 games, 3 weeks, didn't have him. You dub that somehow. The grand arrival you come to is lucky team because there's been underperforming opposing punting. I think I've heard it all, folks. Crazy. This is probably why ESPN has these wacky tiers where they put the Dolphins in tier 3, which is like No guarantees, but we think so, or something of that regard. Some crowd didn't put him in true contenders, didn't put him in playoff locks. They put him in, we think. It's like, oh, really? This is the most explosive receivers in the league, a quarterback that you all are starting to realize that you effed up on and realize he's very good. You're still like, leading the division. You're still hopeful on the Bills, who, two things that the Bills can't stand: close games and weather. My God, they should only play in 2-score games in a dome. Then the Bills, they'd be the greatest team alive. Crazy. Here's what his conclusion was. What it means. The Dolphins probably can't count on pulling out quite as many close games the rest of the season. 4 of the next 6 games are after the bye are on the road, including a 3-game trip against the 49ers, Chargers, and Bills. That being said, the defense will likely improve in the red zone and produce more of a pass rush, adding Bradley Chubb at the trade deadline. The Dolphins should be more balanced from here on out, which could be scary given how effective their offense has been with Tagovailoa on the field. Look, I kind of feel like you just said everything there, Bill. If I'm honest, in the words of my favorite Heat point guard, Goran Dragic, I feel like you just said everything there. You said, they can't count on pulling out as many close games, but they should be better. And it's a scary proposition for this lucky ass team. I don't know where you stand on this, dude. But I do know this. Of course, when it came down to it, when he was going to say lucky, unlucky, who's unlucky do you think that he put? The Bills, of course. Everybody's darling, the Buffalo Bills. Poor Bills. The Bills are unlucky. Dolphins, lucky. Or, as he really wants to put it, I thought the Bills were going to be good. They're not quite as good. And so I'm drawing that up to luck and disguising it with numbers. And the Dolphins, who I didn't think were going to be as good, are actually amazing. And I must camouflage my wrongness by disguising it with a little thing I like to call luck. Well, I have something to say for you, Barnwell. F*** your luck, okay? This is a good team. Give credit. It's a good team. Let's just move on. I have debunked this investigation. I have thrown it out in court. It is nothing. Your ESPN, your luck article is nothing. Your tears are nothing. Except when I say tears, I don't mean the tears that I'm lapping off your face because you were so wrong about Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins. I mean your stupid playoff tears that have the Dolphins in tier 3 and not tier 1, which they should be, or tier 2. Those tears, garbage. The tears that are coming down your face, I drink those. I hydrate off those. I have an IV drip of your tears. Those I delight in.